you already know what it is. When you see me, front your TV, front your mobile phone, in front your computer, whatever you at and you watching, I appreciate it. But you know that one thing is for certain and three things are for sure. Number one, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats and not none of that static. Number three, and perhaps the most important number of them all, number three, is that we want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And you may be asking yourself, how, Mr. P, how, Don, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. I'm glad you asked. And I will tell you right now, you got to smash the like button, you got to subscribe, and you got to share. And it doesn't matter in which order you've done those things. Once you've done those things, you've kept your Lions news pragmatic. And because sharing is caring, when you share this stream with your uncles, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, your uncles, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, your sisters, you name it, you have indeed cared about those people. We've got some things that we have got to get into today. Donkey Kong, you're wrong. But again, it doesn't matter. You are often wrong, my friend. I have the article in front of my face. Okay. So we got some things that we've got to get into today. What is up to everybody in the chat? Whoever wants to come in and flame Donkey Kong, please do, because I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to be talking about some edge situations. Are the Detroit Lions looking for edge rushers at the trade deadline as per the article in my face? Okay, Donkey Kong, bro. We gonna, gonna put you in timeout. I mean, my guy, every time he comes into my chat, bro, disrespectful as hell. Like, I'm just supposed to sit there and take it. Like, bruh, you don't pay me nothing. So unless you want to throw down some super chats, you got nothing to say. All right. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get to what we got going on. Because if Brad Holmes didn't write the article, then that means that that's not happening, because nobody who writes these articles has any information or knowledge about the NFL. Nobody who writes these articles has any inside sources. Nobody who writes these articles knows anything about the NFL. They've never been inside of an NFL building. They've never spoken to anyone at all, ever. It's never happened. They just write articles. They pull them out of their ass, right? It's like a 2-pack of ass. It stinks. If you talk about what up, though, Tactical Sport. So, according to Donkey Kong, we should never even read an article because no one knows what they're talking about. No one possibly knows what they're talking about. If it's not Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes, no one knows what they're talking about. Okay. All righty. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to this. As you can see, I don't have a whole lot of voice left, but I'm going to use it today. And I think I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to use it today. Or am I off? Yeah, I'm off tomorrow. All right. So we have got some news. It says, Pro Football Rumors, Lions inquiring about edge rushers ahead of NFL trade deadline. Now, I don't understand why we're inquiring about edge rushers, because we good, right? That's what I was told. I was told we good. Was I lied to? Now, here's the thing. I think the Detroit Lions right now are tied for third in sacks, which is phenomenal. From where we came from all of this stuff that we've been talking about, from what we dealt with last year, with once Hutch went down, there were no sacks to be had. Pretty much. It felt like there were no sacks to be had. I said AQM came in and he gave you 3. Zadarius came in and he gave you 4. Everyone else was 1 or 2. Like, it just wasn't there to be had. There was half or 3 half sacks. There was just not too much being contributed. So there was a lot of worry, a lot of consternation coming into this season. Throughout the offseason, we need to address the pass rush. We need to address the pass rush. We need to get an edge rusher who is competent on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. Well, we found one in AQM. Don't talk to me about Marcus Davenport because there's no reason to do that. Okay. AQM, I think, has 5 sacks at the moment. Okay. Now Lee McNeil is back. So now you've got here's your second best pass rusher on your team. Derek Barnes has contributed with 2 or maybe 3 sacks this year, which is far above his average because his average is generally 1 sack per year. Motown Sports 77 says we got McNeil. Yeah, we do. We have McNeil. We have the meats. Okay, we have the meats. All right. So now that Aleem is back, and Hutch has been here all year, then you ask yourself, well, why would this be considered? Some of you ask this, and I will tell you, because a dominant defensive line damn near assures you a Super Bowl. I don't know if you know this. Okay. The offense is currently in a mini slump. Don't take my word for it. Take Amon-Ra St. Brown's word for it. He said in the on his podcast, he said he was talking about the defense because they had Amik Robertson on the show as a guest today. And he was talking about the offense, the defense, and how the defense played so well that the defense won the game for them because they did not perform up to their standards as an offense. He said, I feel like we've been saying that for the last couple of weeks. When you say that for the last couple of weeks, we're not playing up to the standard that we can play for, that is a sign of a bit of a low. Okay. That means that the offense is not taking care of business to the level that they're satisfied that they're taking care of business. Look at the defense from last game. The defense wasn't perfect, right? They didn't shut them completely out. It wasn't 24-0, but the defense played so well that whatever little things came up and cropped up, and we might have missed a little bit of an assignment here. We might have over pursued on a rush there. We might have done this, that, here. We might have done that there. However, that is of no concern because the defense performed phenomenally well, especially to have the Legion of Whom or the veritable all-stars of who he played for out there, right? Especially for that. We did what we needed to do on defense. The offense, while there were some things here and there that we did well, a lot of that game was ugly, and a lot of opportunities were missed and squandered, and a lot of points were left out there on the field. And the offense knows that. That's why I said, don't take my word for it. Take Amon-Ra St. Brown's word for it. Okay? Because he actually plays on that offense. So because nobody, according to Donkey Kong, nobody who has ever been outside of the building whose name isn't Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes knows anything. Well, I'm not qualified to talk to you about any of this. Why are y'all here? Why are you watching me? I'm not qualified. Please leave. No. For any more chat trolls, just understand there's a block button, there's a timeout button, and I'm not gonna sit here and let you talk to me like I'm your goddamn child. Boy, please. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's see what y'all got going on. What up, though, Lisa? Motown Sports 77 says it's the O-line. And K.A. Press wants us to know that she's eating pizza. All right. I would agree that part of it is the O-line. The other part is play calling. Facts. Yeah, Glasgow and Decker on the decline. Mahogany and Ratledge Young. Play calling does not match up. Okay. So I can put someone in timeout also, Don. Oh, it's all good. I appreciate you, Lisa. I've already done it. If you see Donkey Kong come back while I'm talking, if he hasn't left already, just put him back in timeout. Matter of fact, you might as well ban him because he doesn't have anything to do or say except be belligerent and a jackass. So Donkey Kong, you can go back to Woodward Sports, man. We don't need you over here. Peace out, player. Oh, you try to say something about some people is like, why do you even watch podcasts? Why do you even watch anything outside the team? Hey, they do press conferences all day. They do press conferences every day, right? You don't need to hear my opinion. Go away. Goodbye. See ya. If you're subscribed to my channel, unsubscribe and don't come back because I don't have time for you. I don't know where your Ichiban is. I'm not responsible for your breakfast, lunch, or your dinner. No, because even when we started, he was like, because I was talking about the article, he was like, did Brad write the effing article? If it wasn't Brad that wrote the effing article, it's some F-tard. I'm like, God damn, dog. Like, who pissing your Cheerios? I ain't got no time for that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come in here for that. I came in here to do my show and to go to work. I don't have time to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? If y'all ever watched this show, Living Single, back in the day, when Queen Latifah used to say, because Khadijah don't need you. You know what I'm saying? Peace out, player. Go do that somewhere else. Anyway, okay, and as I said, I'm not responsible for your breakfast, your lunch, or your dinner. So you better go down there to the hibachi spot and get you some. All right. So the point was this. The point that I was trying to make was your offense is struggling right now, whether it be the offensive line, whether it be the play calling, something is not matching up. Something is not marrying up on your offense. So if you have a dominant defensive line, it helps your team be better, right? And this is why I believe that the Detroit Lions are actually looking and making calls. The other thing is that Brad Holmes, except for the first year of his tenure here, has made deals at the deadline, right? He acquired Zadarius Smith last season. The season before that, he allegedly called the Minnesota Vikings about Danielle Hunter. He's allegedly been on the phone about Myles Garrett. He's allegedly been on the phone about Max Crosby. He's allegedly been on the phone every time some sort of edge rusher comes up, right? So now at the trade deadline, there are going to be some people selling low, right? And you're going to be able to go in and buy low, okay? And it's not even about selling high. It's about buying low and getting high return. That's what this is about. I think Dan Campbell will have a lot more tact and class. That Donkey Kong doesn't sound like Dan Campbell's anger translator to me. That would be me. I'm Dan Campbell's anger translator. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this article and see what they're saying. All right, the Detroit Lions acquired notable pass rushing help before last season's trade deadline and landing Zadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns. A year later, the Lions could address the same area before the upcoming November 4th deadline. They're making calls for an edge rusher, Diana Rossini of The Athletic reports. But I don't know why Diana Rossini would report that, because she doesn't have any sources, because her name's not Brad Holmes. Her name's not Dan Campbell. So she doesn't have any clue what she's talking about, right? Clearly, she couldn't. It's not possible. The addition of Smith came a few weeks after the Lions lost elite pass rusher Aiden Hutchinson to a season-ending broken tibia. Now healthy, Hutchinson has come back this year to thrive during the Lions' 5-2 start. The 25-year-old has racked up 6 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. It should be 9 sacks because 3 of them got overturned by penalties, and one of the penalties was his own. And Pro Football Focus ranks his performance second among 113 qualifying defensive ends. So there's 113 qualifying defensive ends, and they rank his performance second out of 113 people. Now, here's the thing, FPFF. We don't care about PFF, even when they fit our narrative, because when they fit our narrative, they may still turn around and unfit it with some dumb stuff that they come up with later. All right. In addition to Hutchinson, Detroit has gotten strong work from El-Quadin Muhammad, who already has 5 sacks and is just 1 away from tying a career high. Muhammad's emergence has come in the absence of Marcus Davenport on IR, you don't say, since September 22nd with a pectoral strain. Davenport has already missed 5 games after missing most of the past 2 seasons, and with the Lions now on a bye, he could return in week 9. It doesn't appear that will happen, though, as head coach Dan Campbell suggested last week that Davenport probably won't be ready until late November via Nolan Bianchi of the Detroit News. By the time Davenport is back in the fold, he could be part of a deeper group of rushers if general manager Brad Holmes reels in help for the second deadline in a row. While it's unclear which players Holmes has targeted, Titans outside linebacker Arden Key could be a name to watch in Detroit's search, according to Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports. If you're going to get anybody from the Titans, Arden Key would be cool, and bring back Kevin Zeitler. Thank you. Yep, give him a 8th round pick for I know there's no 8 rounds. I know this. Some people don't get the joke. As a soon-to-be free agent on a team that could conduct a fire sale, Key is an obvious trade candidate. Key has missed back-to-back games with a quadriceps injury and has only totaled 1.5 sacks in 5 contests this year, but he amassed 23.5 over the previous 4 seasons. If he ends up in Detroit and returns to his past production, Key would give the team another solid compliment to Hutchinson. Oh my goodness. Arden Key is the next Detroit Lion because he's injured. All right. With a $6.5 million salary and a $9.92 million cap hit, the Lions wouldn't have trouble absorbing what's left of Key's contract. The team has over $25 million in cap space, which should give Holmes plenty of room to maneuver over the next couple of weeks. Now, here's another thing that you guys should remember, or should know if you didn't know this. The designation post-trade, post-June 1st, is still available, where you can go with some cap relief, and it drastically, shout out to the heavies because they did this today. Trey Hendrickson, if you designated Trey Hendrickson for that, his cap hit goes to $9 million. Could you absorb $9 million for Trey Hendrickson? I think you could. Right? All right, let's see what you guys got to say after this. Come on now. Melvin has already told us we don't need an edge rusher, and Dan said we good. But hey, listen, we need something. We need something. He cannot on the bench. Yeah, Davenport can stay where he's at. Davenport can be a healthy scratch. This is the thing that I said before, and I think all of us were saying this. Marcus Davenport should never have been your first option. You needed to have a backup plan. Now, their backup plan was AQM, and I cannot complain because AQM has one less sack than Hutch. And if you keep up that pace, which I don't think he will, and it's not a knock on him, it's just he's not the same type of edge rusher as Aiden Hutchinson. So if you're expecting Aiden Hutchinson to get 20 sacks this year, you're not expecting El-Quadin Muhammad to get 19. Okay? You're just not expecting that. So the guy that we have Elquidin Muhammad, opposite Aiden Hutchinson. He's doing a great job, and he is probably going to smash his career high of 6. Um, but what we want again is a rotation of uh, guys like AQM who can come in and give you 5 sacks here, 6 sacks there, right? Who can win one-on-ones. That's all we've been asking for. So for the Detroit Lions to be looking to acquire some edge help at the trade deadline, it means that they believe that they can also be better at the position. Okay? It's never a bad idea to make a strength even stronger. Right? When you go to the gym and you work out and you hit your PR on bench, do you just be like, all right, well, I hit my PR. I'm done. I'm never gonna work out again. Nope. You hit your PR and then you go, all right, let's get to work on making that higher next time. Um AQM should have been the starter instead of Davenport. I don't disagree with you, but I really want Davenport barely playing. Okay. And I want him involved in a rotation. Now, if you have him in a rotation with AQM, it's like you got to split 50-50. I don't want to take away snaps from AQM for what we have. Okay. So, like right now, if you had a 3-man rotation, your 3-man rotation would be AQM, Marcus Davenport, and Tyrus Wheat. Tyrus Wheat is a guy, he's a good player. We were so glad to be able to get him from Jacksonville. We were surprised when they let him go in the end of the training camp, and we was able to go ahead and bring him in so he could make the 53-man roster. Really, it was just a 50-man roster because we had 3 guys that wasn't going to make the team. And we just felt real comfortable about these 50 guys that made the team. But we knew they was going to go ahead and contribute in a big way. Even though it did take that boy 7 games to come and register any type of stats at all. But it is what it is. That's my Ray Agnew voice if y'all didn't know. But if we're talking about a championship level rotation, is AQM, Tyrus Wheat, and Marcus Davenport your answer? That's where I'm going with this one. Right. AQM is okay, but I don't think he's an everyday player. He should be a rotation player. And that's why that's why I talk about the rotation that we currently have, because we currently, I don't think, have a championship level rotation, because you're going to need an extra guy anyway, because who knows, man. Marcus Davenport could go in there and get a hangnail and you know sit out. Davenport, who's that? Haven't seen him, but we good. LOL. Facts. Hello there. Sorry it's so late to tune in. I was in Bible study online. It is all good. Heatherine Mims, it is all good. All to the good. Davin Glasscat coming back. Jalen Phillips, I'm iffy on also. All right, we're gonna get into some candidates of who is available and who do we think. And we're gonna do it a little bit of a different way because the heavyweights did this, and I watched the heavyweights. They're my dogs, so I don't want to like do the same thing that they did. So we're gonna do it in a little bit of a different way, and I am going to just y'all hear my voice. So I'm gonna put some tea on and I'm gonna be right back. So just give me a minute. I'm just gonna go boil the water. I'll be right back. All right. So Cam Jordan is the answer, you say. All right, let's see here. Also, Hendrickson isn't going anywhere. The Bengals won the Unk Bowl, and they holding out hope that Joe Burrow can come back. Yeah, it does look like they can win the division, but they're not re-signing him. If you could get a second round pick for him right now, I think that would be the responsible thing to do. And I'm not just saying that as a Lions fan. If I was in that situation as a Bengals fan, I wouldn't be asking you for a second round pick for him. I'd be asking you to re-sign him. But now that they've come to the impasse where they just adjusted his salary to give him more guaranteed money this year, and they're gonna move off of him next year. That's what it looks like. What up, Shift God? OTC. He says, I think Phillips is more feasible than Hendrickson. He's probably more feasible, yes. Let's see. Cam Jordan is the answer. Brad likes those types of dudes. Can't really complain. Granderson is a possibility. We're gonna do some of this stuff. Let's see. They did, and that's what Tomlin was complaining about. All right, fire sale teams. Okay, here we go. As I said, the Uncle Rico releases this year are Michael Penix and what's his name? Carson Wentz. They look terrible. What up though, Zach J? All right, I'm gonna be right back. The tea is ready. I'm gonna pour it and bring it. All right, we back. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Whoever's the most hurt and the oldest will be the edge rusher weekend. Bruh, I literally said T. I literally said, y'all hear my voice. I gotta go make the tea. I said it. What are you talking about? What is the Unk? So the Unk Bowl, they're talking about Aaron Rodgers versus Joe Flacco because they're both over 40. So that's why they call them the Unk Bowl. Yeah. All right, fire sale team: New Orleans, Miami, Giants, Jets, Titans, in my opinion. So that's what we were gonna do. We're gonna go through the NFL and we're gonna see if we can find some sleepers. Okay. We're gonna see if we can find some sleepers. All right. So NFL team rosters. All right. So let's start with the AFC East. We're gonna go division by division, right? Because I think that's the best way to do it so that we can keep it organized and we can keep it making sense. Okay. All right. AFC East, we got the Buffalo Bills. I don't think the Buffalo Bills are going to be sellers. The Miami Dolphins are definitely going to be sellers. So the Miami Dolphins have Bradley Chubb and they have Jalen Phillips. Bradley Chubb, it's got a couple $30 million cap hits in there. I don't think that Bradley Chubb is the answer. But And I'm gonna be going outside of the box because everyone is going inside of the box. Remember, I just said that if you do post June 1st in a trade, you're gonna drastically reduce their cap hit, right? What if you took Bradley Chubb for a 4th rounder? Because again, NFL trades have crazy returns, crazy in the other way. Like, damn, he went for that. Damn, like Max Crosby only went for a 5th rounder. You know what I mean? Like, they just have stuff like that that happens all the time. What if you took Bradley Chubb for this year alone? You reduced his salary cap, and I would have to look at it, but let's just say you cut it in half because of the post-trade, post-June 1st designation that you give. So let's say he's a $15 million cap hit for this year. And then you go ahead and you flip him next year before the salary becomes guaranteed. Would y'all be opposed to that? Now, the only reason that you don't do something like that is because by then Bradley Chubb could have another season-ending injury. I don't think he's on Marcus Davenport's level, but it is what it is. So yeah, Bradley Chubb is injury prone. We know this. So what do y'all think about that? We should trade for Trinity Benson. I don't think he's in the league anymore. So what y'all think? Let me know in the chat. What do you think about the proposal of Bradley Chubb for a 1-year rental, even though his contract is not expiring, but we would just flip him again next year onto another team? I wouldn't touch the Dolphins' assets. So you don't like Jaden Phillips at all? Rather go for Phillips? Okay. Pierce Sargent, I agree with you 100 about selling the teams, including the Tennessee Titans, because they lost 6 games this coming weekend. They will lose 7 games against the Indianapolis Colts. LOL, can we trade Davenport away? I mean, we can if there is a very, very foolish team that wants to be fleeced. Phillips, okay. So we're all going with Phillips. All right. New York Jets. Now, with the New York Jets, we do have some people. And we have a pipeline because we have AG over there. All right. So let's look at our depth chart because they got people I don't know on the Jets. But I'm sorry. I just don't know you. You know what I'm saying? All right. So our base 4-3-D, Will McDonald the fourth, they're not trading. Braden McGregor, Tyler Barron. Let's see here. Jermaine Johnson, right defensive end. Michael Clemens is his backup. And then yeah, so either Braden McGregor or Jermaine Johnson, if they could be had, who would you rather have? Just in the season. That's crazy. Jermaine Johnson's name has come up. Okay. What do you think it would take to get Jermaine Johnson? Let me click on his information. He's currently questionable, so he's a little bit banged up. So that's good. The Jets will be playing the Bengals. So 2 of our targets are there. He's got 1 sack this year, but he's got 11 for his career. But Jeffrey Simmons is a defensive tackle, so I don't think that they would waste assets trading for Jeffrey Simmons, because while I mean he does help by bringing in interior pressure. If you're looking for an edge opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, now that Aleem McNeil is there. But I mean, if you had Jeffrey Simmons, Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, good luck, whoever you are over there. Because it's like, all right, we could put in AQM, we could put in Marcus Davenport, we could put in Tyrus Wheat, Tyus Lacey, anybody that we could put me over there off the street. And I'm gonna get a sack or two. Not interested in not anyone from the Jets. I mean, I know they're a bad team, but 4 or 5, 4 or 4th or 5th probably to get Jermaine Johnson. Okay. How about Mozzie Smith from Michigan? Again, I think Mozzie Smith is a defensive tackle. The deadline is the 4th, yes. Yes, and I think didn't he just get extended or something like that last year? All right. So fine. Sauce Gardner is also questionable, but we're talking about edges. Okay. So that's the Jets. Let's go to the NFC East. Dallas Cowboys are not going to be sellers. The Dallas Cowboys, the crazy thing. Okay, here's the crazy thing about the trade season. The Dallas Cowboys have been linked to Max Crosby today because he went and followed a bunch of people from the Dallas Cowboys. But just yesterday, he was told by the Raiders that he's not getting traded. They're not shopping him. Make it make sense. What does any of it mean? Is he shopping himself? Is he like, bruh, okay, I know I said I wanted to be a Raider for life. He actually tweeted RN for life. And that, that sparked a little bit of debate because certain people didn't understand what he was talking about. Raiders Nation. RN stands for Raiders Nation, not the other thing. Okay, not registered nurse. Okay. But they just said they weren't trading them, so we'll see what happens. Mozzie is a DT, don't need another DT. Right. Just thinking about that because he's not comfortable with the Titans. If he's comfortable taking a pay cut, we'll take him. All right. The New York Giants, while I would love Kayvon Thibodeau, they've got new life with Jackson Dart, so I don't think they're going to be sellers. The Philadelphia Eagles went from having everybody to not many people at all. The Washington Commanders, realistically, the Washington Commanders should be sellers because they're trash. But nobody jumps out to me on the Washington Commanders anyway, even if they were going to be selling. All right, AFC West. We know the Denver Broncos I think they're leading the league in sacks, but we know they are in the thick of things. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, someone I would take from the Las Vegas Raiders. We're probably not going to get Max Crosby. The Raiders are what, 1-6? Who we probably could get is Malcolm Kuntz. Can I interest you in a Malcolm Kuntz? How about Tyree Wilson? Listen, I mean, I'm just saying, Tyree Wilson is a big dude. He wasn't worth the pick. But if we can get him for a 4th or a 5th, what do y'all think about Tyree Wilson? You see, this is why I'm doing it this way, because we have the names that we've heard and all this other stuff. But what about some of the other people who might be a little bit under the radar? And again, as I said, we've got Malcolm Kuntz. He could be available. The 2-5 Giants are not selling. Nah, I don't think they are. If they are, yeah, give me Kayvon Thibodeau for the stretch run. I mean, look, you look at a game like what they lost on Sunday, and you're like, we weren't supposed to lose that game. So I don't think that I don't think that they think they can run the table, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're not selling. Um, so what about Malcolm Kuntz or Tyree Wilson? What do y'all think? We know he was the 7th overall pick. Uh, he's 6'5", 263. So he fits the body type that the Lions like. Let's see his career. He's got 10 sacks in his career. When was he drafted? 2023. So this is what, his 3rd year. So he's averaging 5 sacks per season so far. I think this season he's only got 1 sack. I think, or 2 sacks. He's got 2 sacks this season. Could do with Malcolm. Okay, Malcolm Kuntz. All right, Heatherine, we will check you out later. Wilson would be good. Okay, so we got 1 vote for Malcolm Kuntz and 1 vote for Tyree Wilson. All right. See, I told y'all that's why I'm doing it this way. I'm putting people in front of me, and some people we haven't even thought about it. All right, Los Angeles Chargers. They're not selling. Arizona Cardinals could be sellers. They are also 2-5, and it doesn't feel like they're getting any better. So I think there's a difference between the 2-5 Giants and the 2-5 Arizona Cardinals. I just don't feel like the Arizona Cardinals are getting any better, and I don't feel like they feel like they are either. Kyler Murray is going to be out once again. All right. So Josh Sweat we're not getting Josh Sweat. I don't know too much about Jordan Birch, who's their 2nd stringer. Darius Robertson, Bilal Nichols. They're not trading Darius Robertson. So Bilal Nichols or Dante Stills. I mean, a 7th rounder. I would take a flyer. But now Bilal Nichols is 6'3", 300 pounds. But he's a defensive tackle. Are they playing Darius Robertson as a defensive tackle? No. Okay, so Bilal Nichols is a candidate because Darius Robinson is the right defensive end. Bilal Nichols is his backup. He's 6'3", 300 pounds. He's a backup, but he's also a defensive tackle. So 100% that could be someone on the radar. Dante Stills is 6'4", 300 pounds. He's also the 3rd string right defensive end. So Dante Stills has 8 sacks for his career. He's been in the league since 2023, so similar to Tyree Wilson. He was a 6th round pick. Bilal Nichols, I think he's a bit older. Yeah, he's been in the league since 2018, and he has 14 sacks in his career. So he's not great at sacking the quarterback, but he's also primarily a defensive tackle. See, we were talking about that earlier. We were talking about making your defense better because your offense is in a slump. Mozzie Smith is a DT, but we don't need edge rusher. We have them, so we could use Mozzie. And no, we have defensive tackles. We don't have edge rushers. We have Hutch and we have AQM. If you want to count Tyrus Wheat and Marcus Davenport, be my guest, but I don't. But this isn't basketball. But because he wants out of Dallas doesn't lower his price. This isn't basketball. He doesn't have any power. Trade for a new OC. Well, again, one might fall in our laps. Paging Mike McDaniels. Good on the Cardinals. Okay. I'm just saying these are people that might be on the radar. The game plan has been control the clock because the defense is so banged up. So I get that part. But here's the thing. If the game plan is control the clock, is the game plan also leave 35 points on the field? That was the issue with the Lions offense on Monday night. It wasn't 35, I'm exaggerating, but 14, 21, right? Leave to 6, 7. So leave 21 points on the field, and you can go over or under. Right? You can go 28 or you can go 14, however you like. Was that part of the game plan? That was the issue. Yeah, we needed long sustained drive, but we also needed to put points on the board. I listen. But you're not putting points on the board. That's the thing. He could wear capris because we play indoors, so he's fine. Now we wouldn't want him wearing capris because you know what I mean? Because it's all about grit over here. It's not about wearing capris. All right. Los Angeles Rams are not selling. San Francisco 49ers are not selling. Seattle Seahawks are not selling. So there's no need to go from them. Now, here's a team that nobody's talking about. This is why I'm doing this. Okay? Here's a team that no one is talking about. AFC North, Baltimore Ravens, my friends. The Baltimore Ravens are 1-5. Okay? And no one is mentioning anyone from the Baltimore Ravens. Now, their defense has been bad this season. However, now these guys, let's see. All right. Okay. The only one I'm looking at, and I understand he has been underwhelming, and this is why I think we could get him and then repair him with his man from Michigan. That's David Ojabo. Okay? He'd be back in Michigan where he played college. He'd be back with Aiden Hutchinson. I think he could rekindle the spark. We could use him in a different way. He's playing as a linebacker in the 3-4 scheme. If we move him back to defensive end, he is 6'4", 252. I think 250 is the cutoff. He played as a defensive end at Michigan, right opposite Hutch. Okay? Hutch was on one side, Ojabo was on the other side. What do we think about David Ojabo from the Baltimore Ravens? We don't know what Tanner Engstrand is because he's got Justin Fields. So taking him back, we don't know if he's good or not. I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, unless they just like, oh, we're taking for whatever quarterback, because it was supposed to be Arch Manning, and I can see that happening because Archie Manning played for the Saints. So the legacy of, the Mannings and coming back and being reborn and all this other stuff. I don't know if you need Granderson as part of whatever you're taking for Archie Manning or Arch Manning, you hope the offense gets in gear. I don't know. I don't know if they would come off Granderson pause. But Tanner Engström for what? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how good he is. Really. He's unproven, just like Johnny Moe is unproven. When I talked about Mike McDaniels, I mean, he's proven to be able to be an offensive coordinator, just not a head coach. So I would definitely not take Engström back. The Ravens just traded for a defensive end 2 weeks ago. Don't think they would trade one. Maybe. I mean, look, David Ojabo has underperformed in Baltimore. If you want to say, all right, we'll take him off your hands for a 7th, he needs to change the scenery. He needs to get back to a 4-3 defense. Maybe he's just not doing well in the 3-4. Who knows? And stranger things have happened. He has 4 sacks for his career in a 3-4 scheme where he's a stand-up linebacker instead of a hand-in-the-dirt pass rusher like he was at Michigan. That's what I'm saying. Look, I'm just saying. I don't think Mike McDaniels was calling plays in San Fran, but I could be wrong. His play calling is not the issue in Miami. And he does call the plays in Miami. And they have made the playoffs with him calling plays. I don't have any issues with Mike McDaniels calling plays. The issue with Mike McDaniels is he's not a leader of men. Okay? That's the issue with Mike McDaniels. And we don't need him to be a leader of men in Detroit because that's what Dan Campbell is for. He's just going to be an offensive. At this point, he'd be an offensive assistant, right? Waiting to take Johnny Moe's job at the end of the season or sometime during the season if Johnny Moe doesn't get it together. All right, so we got 1 vote for David Ojabo. Let's see here. I'm just not doing the usual suspects because we've done all of those. All right. If the Cleveland Browns are sellers, we will not get Myles Garrett. But on the other side of Myles Garrett, we've got what the frick? Isaiah McGuire. I don't know too much about Isaiah McGuire. Hey, we could get Aiden Huntington because then we'll have the 2 Aidens, Aiden Hutchinson and Aiden Huntington. I don't know if Dayball takes another offensive coordinator job, but we'll see. Did David Ojabo start off with the Pats? He did. Okay. Are you sure? I thought he got drafted by the Ravens. I'm pretty sure he got drafted by the Ravens. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, he got drafted by the Ravens. He was the 2nd round pick 45 overall. He got drafted by the Ravens. Yeah, I don't know anybody. I don't know the people on the Cleveland Browns. Pittsburgh Steelers aren't selling. Chicago Bears aren't selling. Green Bay Packers aren't selling. Minnesota Vikings aren't selling. I don't think anybody in our division is selling, and even if they were selling, we don't really, unless it's TJ Hawkinson, we don't do the Pittsburgh and the Cincinnati. Houston Texans should be selling because they are trash. Now you're not getting somebody like Will McDonald. But can I interest you in? I'm sorry, not Will McDonald. Will Anderson. Will McDonald plays for the Jets. Can I interest you in Daniil? I'd love to interest you in Daniil Hunter, but I don't think they're trading him. I'm sure everyone would like Derek Barnett, right? And Danico Autry. Would we like these people? Derek Barnett, Danico Autry. I say yes to both of these players. Yeah, I don't think he goes back. Who was that? Who got traded for? You mean Flacco? I don't think you mean Flacco, do you? Yeah. So what about Derek Barnett or Danico Autry? I'm pretty sure. They got some strange. No, okay, no. Danico Autry is, yeah. This is his 12th season. It's probably not going to cost that much. He's got 63 sacks in his career. If they're selling, the Texans are 2-4, and they look like garbage. The defense is the only thing that can keep them in games, and they realize that the defense is not gonna do much, because while the defense can hold you to 20 points, your offense can't score 20. More so Autry. Okay. Oh, Greg Newsome. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we got. We already talked about Arden Key. A lot of Falcons aren't selling. The Carolina Panthers are not selling. The Saints, we talked about the Saints, guys. We know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't selling. So we've got some different candidates, which is good. I wanted to come up with different candidates. I didn't want to talk about the same guys over and over and over again like the rest of the shows do. So I think we accomplished that. And shout out to Donkey Kong for getting banned. I hope I never see you again, because if I see you in my chat again, I will ban you. Like really ban you. I won't just time you out. I will ban you. So I don't want you around me at any time, any place, anywhere. Okay? All right. And you know what time it is. You know what we do on this show, boy. We flow, boy. Mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag. Snick. Mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right, let's get these mailbag questions in, guys. Because I've got to flow, boy. What poop break? What are we talking about? I've never taken a poop break. I do not need any breaks before mailbag. Look, guys, here's evidence. Here's proof. You see this? Hold on, let me get that in the camera. That's a bag that you put. There's tea in it. I had to say that in the best way possible without having to pause it. Mailbag, did you check who are the free agents? I don't think any free agents are out there are helping. No. So I didn't check the free agents for the defensive ends. Did you see an interesting name in the free agent pool? Because before the season, we had Jadeveon Clowney, we had Zadarius Smith, you know, we had some people. Pause. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there are any more names that were interesting to us after Clowney got taken by the wasn't the Cowboys? Yeah. Mailbag. Should we get Evan Brown, swing guard from the Cardinals, also played center? Evan Brown, didn't he play with us before? Hmm. That's tough. That's a tough question because we don't have a whole lot of trade assets. And all of our trade assets is draft capital. Hmm. Uh if I had to choose between the two, I would rather go ahead and get an edge rusher because I believe what's going on with the offense would get fixed far sooner than Tyrus Wheat developing into someone consistent and Tyrus Wheat and Marcus Davenport developing into people you can consistently trust. Tyrus Wheat just with the level of play, and Marcus Davenport, of course, with injury. So I would much rather just go ahead and get a defensive end if I had to choose between one or the other. A couple years ago, yeah. What up, though, JSJ? Yeah, I do. I saw James Houston was doing well with Dallas. Who knew, right? who could have predicted that? Um, can you interest me in Shaq Barrett? I mean, if he has anything left in the tank, I know he retired and then unretired. He's been there the entire time. So I don't know if you could interest me in Shaq Barrett. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Um, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a tire kicking, but I don't know how excited I would be if you did kick the tires. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about that one. Yeah, that's why I said that list is slim to none. You know what I'm saying? And usually at what are we, week 8 going into we're going into week 8. Um yeah, tomorrow will be the start of week 8 cuz Thursday night football. Um I don't know. I don't know. Um Like if you're a free agent and it's week 8 and you're not on a team, you're approaching Jamal Adams territory. Shout out to Jamal Adams for finding a spot on the Raiders. Why are the Raiders so bad? Does anybody like that's my mailbag question for y'all. They got a new quarterback, a new head coach, and they're worse than they were last season. That doesn't make sense to me. I was told that the quarterback was the main problem. Geno Smith is not this bad, is he? I mean, he gave us fits for years. Odafe Owe. Yeah, that was, and he went for like freaking a pack of Skittles and a Faygo Pop. Like, what are we doing? Oh my God, it pisses me off. But I think they did do a player swap. So, I mean, I'd have swapped Marcus Davenport. Yeah, it seems that way. He's one of those guys that's just always misunderstood. Man, look, man, I just went in the locker room, man. And I told the coach, I was like, man, coach, hey, look, coach, if you need some help out there, coach, calling them plays, just let me know. Because you ain't really that good at calling plays. And you know, they cut me. I said, basically, look, coach, I was just saying, see, I misunderstood. Because I was saying, like, coach, man, I can help this team. I can help this team win. I can help this team win for real. That's all I was saying to the coach. And they cut me, man. You believe that, dog? You know what I'm saying? Man, I went up to this coach, man. And I told the coach, I said, coach, straight up, I slap your mama in the face. And you know they cut me, man. And look, I was saying to the coach, I was like, look, coach, I die for you, baby. So anything you need me to do, like if your mama step out of line, she get out of pocket, I slap her in the face for you, coach. I do that for you because I know they would pain you too bad to slap your own mama in the face, coach. I was trying to pronounce my undying love and affection for that coach. Pause. And he cut me, man. Can you believe that? I'm so misunderstood. I'm so misunderstood. This guy, CJGJ, bro, I swear. The answer is Chip Kelly. What you mean? Chip Kelly you mean as our OC? As our OC? I don't know. Chip Kelly didn't really work out too well in NFL as a head coach. Oh, why the Raiders are terrible? Yeah, he is the OC, isn't he? But that doesn't tell you why the defense is giving up 31 points. that doesn't explain that. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, that defense ain't no good. They got Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, and don't they have who's the linebacker that they picked up from the Buccaneers? What's his name? It's not Levante David because Levante David still plays. It's the other one. There was Levante David, and there was I usually know all of these things. I'm like an encyclopedia of names. Levante David, it's 54. It's not Devin Bush. What's his name? Devin White. There we go. Devin White. Yeah, I knew it was Devin. I believe they do have Devin White. Yes. So I'm just saying, like, yeah. I don't know. They're pretty terrible. They're pretty terrible. Like offensive struggles, I get it. But the defense is supposed to be way, way better than it is. Way, way better. Nah, Devin Lloyd is someone else. Devin White is the one I was thinking about. Ex-Bucks, former Bucks linebacker. All right, y'all. I'm a I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm probably gonna take like a 30-minute nap because I've learned my lesson. Okay. I've learned my lesson. There won't be any more tired driving for me. So I'm probably gonna take a little 30-minute nap before I get out there and get back to work. So I appreciate y'all for coming through, stopping by, hanging out for a drinking conversation. If y'all see Donkey Kong in these internet streets, make sure you block him too, because he's a jackass and an asshat. But anyway, I will not be here tomorrow because that's Thursday, but I will be back on Friday. So once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace.